All right, Alex.
Am I good to go?
Yes, and I'll mute everyone else, but you can start.
Alex
Perfect.
says
So my name is Alex. I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Good old right there. And a couple of things about me. So I started in 2016. I signed up strictly for the discount. I was not sure what the heck Beachbody was at the time, but I knew that Shakeology really helped my headaches. And so I was all on board for discount. I love garage sales, Goodwill, you name it. So getting something cheaper sounded very appealing. So I signed up with that. And in doing that, I really committed to the first round of the 21-day fix. And I did that in January of 2016. And I ended up losing, I forget the exact number, but I think it was 12 pounds in 21 days. And I ended up on an infomercial. And from there, that just kind of skyrocketed everything for me. And I think the most important thing about my journey was that when I signed up as a coach and I started posting and I started sharing my journey, I was at still the heaviest weight that I have been in my life. And you know, sometimes when we sign up, we think we have to be perfect and we have to have this image and persona about who we are, and we can't eat chocolate shake and we can't eat Arby's, which my boyfriend just had in front of me. But, like that is being real in who you are. And so after that, I started to get some of my friends and warm market reaching out to me, which personally, at least now in the business, I love working with my cold market. Warm market is still a little like meh for me. So I love working cold market. And with that, once I remember like the first person messaged me after I posted my results, still really not realizing what the heck I was doing with Beachbody. And from there, I helped that first person and everything just kind of took off. So a little bit of the background about the first year of coaching. I had so much self-doubt going from a discount coach to transitioning into building a business or being like a hobby coach. And each month, you guys, I was always saying to myself, I don't know if I'm going to be here next month. Success Club was really hard to hit. I felt exhausted. I felt just overworked. And my job at the time, so the one that I just left, actually last week, Friday was my last day. I was a 401k, had about 65 different clients, and I would make sure that the IRS and Department of Labor regulations were met by each one of these clients in their 401k plans, that their formulas were right, there wasn't the non-discrimination testing, they were letting people into the plan at the right time, deposits, all of that stuff. So when I was at work, I needed to be zoned into work because I'm dealing with money and finances and all this stuff. But over the last 2.5 years, I think it's pretty awesome to say, looking back on it, that I was able to build a 5-star team working a full-time job, because we just went into 5-star qualifications last week, Thursday, and I was still working that full-time job as of that day. So if that doesn't tell you that absolutely anything is possible in this business, if you stick to it, keep that consistency, then that is it right there. In addition to that, let me just see. I'm terrible when it comes to notes, so I don't even know why I write them sometimes. But the biggest takeaway that I had in my first year of coaching was to be here a year from now. And I think I remember learning that at Summit. So Summit 2016 in Nashville, if anyone was around for that. But at Nashville, I remember buying my Summit 2017 ticket and thinking, I'm definitely getting the refundable ticket because I don't think I'm going to be a coach in a year from now. And from there, I just took it month by month, and I decided, okay, I'm really going to give this a year and see where we're at. And in a year, things were still progressing really slow. I wasn't making thousands of dollars a week. I wasn't, replacing my full-time income at that point. But the beauty of the business is just how, if you stay consistent, everything slowly compounds over time. So juggle a full-time job for 2.5 years. And in that amount of time, am I frozen, by the way? I really hope not. I'm just going to keep talking. So, okay. You're frozen on my end, so I'm kind of nervous, but as long as I'm good. So with that being said, I worked as much as I could. So I'm guessing most people on this call still have a full-time job. And if you're, I guess, in that mindset of thinking, I don't know if I can go another day with doing this. I don't know if I can juggle this or wake up early. My honest opinion is that if you look at your life in 40 years from now and you see yourself on the verge of retiring, sitting at a desk job still, about to have that big retirement party at your office, or you can look at your life and you could potentially be doing whatever you want for the next 40 years and still get to work at a job you love. If you put in the work and grind hard for 2, 3, whatever it may be, how many years in between, that to me was worth it. And so every chance I could, I was working. I would wake up early and do Miracle Morning. I would work from 5 in the morning till 7, and then I'd get ready for work. And then I'd go to work. I would work on my lunch break instead of taking little walk breaks around my office, which so many people do. I would sit there, and when I needed a break in between tasks, I would answer messages. On my way home from work, I used the app Voxer a lot with my coaches. And I'd be voice messaging them on my drive home because I had a 40-minute commute. And then when I would get home, if I wasn't with my boyfriend, Jake, I was working or doing one-on-one calls. And looking back on it, I don't know how I juggled all of that and stayed sane, but it was worth every single second of working my butt off. And so another thing to kind of think about, so that I was just looking at the numbers when Jesse was asking me some of this information. So I have hit Success Club and built this team pretty much by hitting Success Club consistently every single month I've been a coach. It's been 31 months of Success Club, 5 nailing it down, and just recently started consistently hitting Success Club 10. So it's not that if you want to build a business where you can retire, you don't need to be hitting these numbers that are like Success Club 50, Success Club 80, stuff like that. You have to consistently show up every single month and help those 3 people, those 5 people, whatever it may be each month. And that just slowly grows and grows. And to go with that, my recruiting numbers for that first year, I might have recruited like 4 coaches a month. And so it slowly grew and it slowly grew. That first year, I ended 2016 as a diamond coach. It took me 12 months to hit diamond, which is awesome. Loved every second of it. And then in May 2017, I became a 1-star diamond coach, and I stayed at 1-star diamond for an entire year. May 2017 until May 2018. So May, June, July, 3 months ago, I was a 1-star diamond coach and as with qualifications. So that just goes to show that consistency. And that 5th diamond, this is something that Jessie mentioned to me when she reached out, but that 5th diamond was my second business center, and I pushed that to diamond within 3 weeks. So that just goes to show those vital behaviors that you are doing every single day. You're reading your PD, you're being a product of the product, you're showing up consistently, you're sharing your journey on. Since you get into such a groove and you get this mojo down and you just start running with it, and then the next thing you know, you've got such a great system that you're able to freaking crush it and go with the system and do something that would have taken you 12 months when you were just learning into 3 weeks. So I'm apparently a very fast talker, but with leaving my job, looking back at how fast things grew for me is in December of 2017, I said I was going to stay 1 more year at my job. And then I said, okay, December 31st is too far away. I'll push it up to October 15th. October 15th, I'm done coaching, or I'm done working my job and I'm a full-time coach. And then that moved up to August 3rd. And then that moved up to July 30th or July 20th. So that was my last day. But the thing that stuck with me when I was setting that goal, that like, okay, can I quit my job? And you start going through all these doubts and you start going through the financial side of it. And then you go through thinking about, what am I going to do all day? Can I spend enough time coaching? Can I recruit enough? And what if I run out of people? Am I really going to be that successful at it? And it came down to, if I wanted to do it, I needed to put that out in the world And as soon as I started saying not like, I hope to retire in July of 2018 or August 2018, and I said I am going to retire on that day, everything just kind of took this mental shift, and I turned it up a couple more notches with reach outs and things like that, and running more coach previews and running groups, that everything just kind of fell into place really. But it was a lot of hard work to get there. And so let me think. One of my other goals was that I wanted to become debt free. So I was able to do that about 4 weeks ago. I paid off my car, and then in February I paid off my student loans. And that was just, you set these vision boards and you just go for it. Like, you set these goals that are just so big, they make you want to puke. I don't know if you've ever heard that term from Josh Coates, the puke goals. But setting those goals and looking at, even if you don't hit that huge goal, but you land somewhere in between where you'd be happy, that's success, dude. That is amazing. So set those goals and raise those bars so high that it makes you so scared, because at the end of the day, if you land in the middle, that is amazing. That's kind of all I have for you. It's all about consistency. That's really the one thing I would tell you. Consistency, making sure that you're showing up every day, sharing the vulnerable parts of your story, not just the exciting, happy parts, and find what works for you, because there's so many different ways to do things out there. I no longer do free groups anymore. I actually do prep groups. And so what I found is that being smarter with my time, because of the limited time I had when I was working a full-time job, I needed something to be able to show people what a challenge group was, what my boot camps, what you get with the challenge pack, why it's beneficial, what my story was, that there's transformations and it's real. So what I do on either the last day of the month or the first day of the month, depending on where that day falls, if it's a Sunday, Saturday, something like that, or a holiday, I sit down and I literally schedule everything out for 1 hour on that day. So for this month, it's going to be on the 31st. And I have transformations for 20 minutes. That'll just have someone's testimony and their transformation picture. And then I go live with a video about my story and how Beachbody has affected my life and changed it for the better. And then I go live with cost and sign up. And then we have an open registration. So what that does is that allows me, I don't know if you guys run these, but it allows me then to go ahead and utilize that tool for the rest of the month. Whenever I have someone message me and ask about Lift 4 or 80-Day Obsession or whatever it is, I can simply say that I have a group with all of the information and add them to it there, and then go ahead and follow up with them. Because one thing that I'm bad at, and I know that it's my vice, is that word vomiting thing. You get so excited that you just start typing and typing. And I like the genuine feel of being able to explain it in person. So that's what the video gives me. And utilizing that throughout the rest of the month. It's just like a coach preview. If I have someone ask me about that, I put them in the latest coach preview that I did in the last week, just to get them the information. So that way I'm not having 60 different conversations. I'm having it in one group, and they get to decide within that one group if that's the information they want. And of course, ask questions at the end. So obviously, if there are other things like that out there, and I just discovered that this year, someone mentioned it, and I was like, whoa, light bulb, that makes so much sense, to be able to utilize that. So if something doesn't work, or you feel like you could switch it up, don't hesitate to switch it up and create something brand new, because you could just unlock this gold mine. But that's kind of all I've got for you. Pretty much the sky is the limit. And honestly, if I could get to where I am, you can do absolutely anything. Success Club is definitely everything, for sure.
And you guys, I like that she was telling you that you don't have to have these crazy high numbers, 50 and 80 and 100, because I know sometimes as coaches, we've been in the business for a while, you think that like, oh, if I'm not signing up this amount of people, I can't be successful. And she was hitting Success Club 5, helping at least 3 people every single month. Like, she didn't go crazy and hit Success Club 80 every single month to leave her job in 2.5 years. She was just helping 3 people and above. And that's the same way I built my business. It was helping 3 people and above. I wasn't having crazy high numbers because honestly, I don't think I'd be able to control it. It would just overwhelm me. But so that's exactly how you want to build, is always say, hey, I'm going to help 3 people or 5 people this month, and then go at it and be really serious about it. Also, how she said, take your statement and instead of saying, I hope to leave work by this day, because almost everyone on this call is full-time or has a full-time job, but figure out what your goals are and start telling yourself. I tell you guys all the time that I am statements in the morning is huge, but it helps you own what you actually want to do. Because when you have that option of like, oh, well, it would be nice if I could leave my job in 2 years or 3 years, you don't push. Like, you already are telling yourself it would be nice if that happened, but it's probably not going to happen. I probably can't do that. And you're already like knocking yourself out of the game. When if you're telling yourself every day, I'm retiring at this stage and going full time, I am matching my income, or I am paying off my car, making those statements and then standing behind them, you're going to push so much harder in your business and have so much more confidence. Alex, you do PD, I'm sure, every single day, correct? And PD, you guys, as you all know, play a huge role in where you go. So I have a question about the challenge groups that you were talking about. So you don't run free groups?
Correct. I had done them for about 2 years, and I just had somewhat of a large following on Instagram. And so getting people messaging me when I would do invites for free groups and things like that, it would just get very overwhelming. And I wanted more of something that could give them the information they needed and let them decide if that's something they want to inquire about, or, you know, so often people are like, wait, that's what that is. I didn't know that was beach body. I'm totally not interested. So yeah, I just do prep groups. Don't do any free groups, which I know sounds bad because I teach my coaches to do free groups, but I found that this works for me at this point. And like I said, it's that tool to just utilize and throughout the entire month, instead of doing a free group and then doing something else.
And
but
for when you had your full-time job, were you doing, I know some coaches like do 2 weeks where they're inviting to their challenge group and inviting to coaching, the other 2 weeks they're building connections. You were working full time. Were you inviting every day? Were you only inviting?
Trying to learn how to do stuff for work, Joni, that makes my job easier, not so time consuming.
So what I would do, one thing that I found with inviting is that if I give people too much time, like even myself, we're in between when I invite and then when the group starts, they're like goldfish and they're like, oh wait, the group started yesterday, I didn't know. And so what I try to do is I try to give myself like a 3-day window. But that again is me doing a prep group, and everything is in that information in that one day, so they're not going to miss out per se. But when I do challenge groups and I do things like that, yes, I do. I'm constantly planting seeds, and I don't know if this is a technical term, if I just made this up, I probably made it up, but I do like soft invites throughout the week, just sporadically. There's no rhyme or reason to them aside from the fact that maybe just the caption that I'm going with kind of flowed. And I'll say, you know what, like today, for example, I'm running a coach preview on Monday and Tuesday. I haven't officially invited to it publicly, but I did say that there is, I'm opening up my mentorship soon, and so stay tuned for details. And then in my Instagram story, what I did is I put a list of like, and I call it I learned this at Summit, Danielle Natoni does it, where she each month calls it like her July firecrackers. I don't even remember. Oh my gosh, it's my August game changers. And so I did August game changers, and then anyone who signed as a coach within the last like couple of days, which since quitting my job has been an insane number, but I put those names in there. And so that creates that demand, and then they can see the open spots, and then obviously do like a fun, like your name would go here. So that's and then people start inquiring. And then probably I'm thinking tomorrow or Saturday is when I'll do an actual hard invite for both my challenge group or my boot camp challenge group, prep group, all interchangeable, sorry. And then like the coach preview. And then obviously utilize Linktree, so they can have the opportunity to fill out either Google form, and I'll point them in the direction of whatever one they want. And then I'll message them and make sure, if they signed up for the one with the coach preview, that's actually the one they wanted the information on, and go from there. Does that help answer your question? I can elaborate more if you need me to.
No, that was good. All right, what other questions do you guys have for her? And don't be shy, because you're on a call and you guys want to know this stuff. So ask questions.
I like your name, Alex. So this is a question that I get very often. When I started with a fresh Instagram, so 0 followers. I did use Instagram back in like 2016 for the first couple of months when it was still not illegal, or it was still available to use. And I would say that maybe got me to about 5,000 followers. So nothing, that's fantastic. But from there, I think what's really grown it, and it always baffles me. I'm very big into my faith, and I really think it all goes back to God, and that this is where he wants me to be. So that's really the only logical answer in my mind that I can give you. But I think a lot of it has to do with just the body image that I've portrayed and the brand that I've built. I'm 5'10", I'm tall, I weigh 185 pounds, and I'm not shy to talk about that. And so every time I do a post and it talks about either my weight and my height, or it's a post where it's just clearly like, I don't have abs, but I'm still working out and I look strong and I look fierce. Those are my posts that usually get a lot of engagement. And then I think it's just grown over time with that. So finding that brand and that one like little thing, it's not little, but that one thing that you can offer the world, and really any woman, is going to be huge for your certain following. Because if you think about it, you all have one specific thing that you might not have uncovered about yourself yet that only you can bring to the world and to the table. And once you uncover it, then it's just like unicorns popping everywhere and magic. But you have to be you, and you can't try to be someone else to find that. Hashtags, I think, are a weird thing. And the number one thing I would say about it is, if you don't spend more time worrying about hashtags as you would crafting a post, because at the end of the day, if you are doing your reach outs and you are doing your own organic, trying to find people that fit your brand, that's what's going to get the job done. Because who cares if I put up a hashtag that says workout and I get 10 guys following me? They're not my brand. I'm not going to try to market to them. But in turn, I do use them. I have like 20, I think, saved in my phone as like my keyboard shortcut. So it's just a quick type in the word. Actually, I type in the word hashtag. So I have to be careful when I use that with my coaches, because then like my 20 hashtags pop up for my shortcut. But I keep it simple and just go about that. But one thing I did hear is that when we want to post, and I don't know what you've been taught, so this might go completely against it, but I think that just goes to show like Instagram is just like, no one really knows anymore. So, but what I've heard lately is use as many hashtags as you want. 30 is obviously the maximum, unless they've changed that, which they might have. And then when you're putting them on your post, do like generic ones that are like workout or fitness girl, things like that. But when you actually want to find someone who fits your brand, that's when you want to go into really specific hashtags, because the workout ones, those have people from all over the world. They have boys, well, women, males, all, both genders. But if you go to a hashtag that's like fitness ladies for Jesus or something, you're going to get women who love Jesus and fitness. And that is exactly like your brand potentially. So that's the only thing I can really tell you about hashtags, I think. What does your inviting look like in your cold market? How do I start conversations? So I do a lot of polls, and I think polls are just a fantastic way to start conversations in your Instagram stories, at least, because have people following you. They might not be liking your photo or commenting on it, but if they watch your Instagram story and you do a poll, and you could even do one that's not coaching related, and you could say, should I pick the yellow dress or the pink dress? Or should I get the Nike sports bra or the Adidas one? And you have people answer that. You can reach out to them and just say, thanks for your, why can't I talk today? Thanks for your filling out my poll. I did go with that dress. Do you shop at Nike too? Or, you can word anything that way, but I also do things about coaching as well. And I think that helps even more so open up that gateway for you. So if you were to say, do you struggle with fitness or do you struggle with nutrition? That's an easy question. I struggle with nutrition. I'm great at working out. I hate eating healthy. So, you get everyone who messages that, and you can go ahead and reach out to them and do some sort of invite to your group, or strictly get to know them first and see if there's someone who you want to work with. But keeping it kind of geared towards fitness and health and things like that, I think the polls are huge. And then I do a lot of like follow-up inviting. So sometimes, like with my stories, I'll get tons of people like people love to give their opinions. And so they give their opinion, and then I never hear from them again. So what I do, they reached out once. That's kind of like my key. So I'll go back through my messages and I'll like send them a, hey, how are you? We haven't talked in a while, or I haven't heard from you since you did that, or said that. So I think follow-ups are also huge if you're not doing that. That is something that I always encourage my coaches to do when I do my mentorships with them. They're always being told to go back through since the beginning of time, pretty much, messages and restart that conversation, because I can't tell you how many times I've had someone say, oh yeah, I've been thinking about messaging you, but I just haven't, or I've been watching you. So, do I invite more to coaching or to challenge groups? Ooh, trick question. I'd say it's pretty 50-50. With the challenge groups, I usually will post right around that prep group time, but because we're still being a product of the product and we're still showing up and working out every day and talking about our meal plans and our stories and, showing everything that we're doing throughout our day, I do get inquiries here and there where someone will ask me what I'm doing. And in that way I can invite to the challenge group. But I am a true believer that some of the best coaches that I've had on my team are challengers first and then coaches. So I never want to be, or I never intend to just, coaching's where it's at and you have to be a coach, but I do want them to also see the benefits of joining this team and being in this environment, the extra accountability they get. So I would say it's definitely 50-50. And I think sometimes they can kind of go hand in hand, where you can do one post one day that's talking about your new group that's coming up, and then you can do the next post that's saying, how you're going to do coaching. But definitely the one thing I've changed has been doing way more coach previews. So that has definitely increased for sure. It used to be very little. I was very shy to do coach previews. Do I use a script when reaching out to my cold market? No. The only time I use well, yes and no. The only time I use a script when reaching out to my cold market is when I do one of the Instagram stories. And again, I have my blinders on a lot, so I guess I'm not really always sure what other teams are doing when it comes. What I've been doing with my coach previews, at least, is I'll say, do you want to know how I quit my full-time job, how I paid off my student loans, how I became debt-free? Have you ever wondered if you would like to get paid to work out and make fitness your business? And go through each Instagram story slide by slide by slide. And then at the end, there's a poll and it says, yes, I'd love to learn more. Oh my gosh, this is a trick, of course, something like that, I think was my last one. And then everyone who answers that, I do use a script for that, because what you find is that some people click it by accident and they're never going to tell you they clicked it by accident. Some people clicked it, but they're never going to respond. And so if they clicked it, I want to be the most efficient to get the information that I need out there to them and let them figure out if they meant to message me back or click the button. So that, in that sense, I do cold reach outs. But when I'm scrolling through and doing my own form of Instagress, which I mentioned earlier, so if you guys weren't around then, Instagress really was just a robot that went through and photos for you. It could comment and it could follow, but I never used that. So I just go through and I like photos. And when I see a photo that I like, or someone who's wow, this person kind of looks like me, maybe they'd fit on my team, things like that. That is more of a personal invite. And I kind of figure out whatever's in their profile. You can usually figure out something to talk to them about within the first 4 pictures in their profile or their bio. Sometimes people just have really witty bios, and I love that. So I will definitely let them know, your bio is hilarious. I love that. Yep. And starting and liking photo, whenever someone likes your photo, yeah, that can definitely be a conversation starter as well. Any other questions for me? I hope I'm still not frozen.
Do you guys have any other questions?
I do. So when you're starting a conversation with someone who likes your picture, like, how do you, is it just like, thanks for the like, or thanks for liking this photo? I don't know. It seems really generic. So do you get super personal with it?
So I haven't really, I'm going to be honest, I haven't done that in a very long time. Because I spent more time with reach outs with people that I find, I guess. And I don't know if I can even answer it because I don't even know what I would say. I'm trying to think. I would probably keep it to, like, if it's one of my warm market friends, that's easy to reach out to, in my opinion, because you just kind of say, like, you know, that means a lot to me for supporting me on this journey. And I would just kind of leave it at that and let them decide. But I don't do it enough to be to be giving advice. So I'm just gonna, if I'm being honest.
That's what I do, is just tell them, like, and especially if it's a warm market, it's so easy just to say, like, hey, thank you for following along. Like, if it's a transformation photo, I'll just say, like, thanks for supporting me on that transformation photo. They're scary still to post, even though I'm proud of where I'm at. I always still get nervous. Also, something you can do if there's someone that's constantly liking your photos, go to their page and then go check them out and watch their Insta story, watch what they're posting, and then you can talk to them about something. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the photo that they liked of yours, but then go to their Insta story, because if they're liking your stuff, that tells you, like, they're following your journey. And now you can go into their Insta story and start a conversation. Like, you want to pay attention to the people that are paying attention to you. Does that make sense?
That's an A+ answer right there.
Do we have any other questions? I'm trying to think of questions you guys asked me. Krista, you have a question? I just unmuted you, I think.
Mute myself. Okay. I look so bad, y'all. I'm sorry. So I just have one question, and you probably already answered it, but I was like pounding chicken just now. What would be like your number one piece of advice for someone who is working a full-time like desk job that's like, my job is not similar to yours, but similar to yours, where I'm actually dealing with like credit and stuff like that, where I have to be super focused at work, and I literally take my whole entire hour that I'm at work and I work my business that whole entire hour. But what would be your number one piece of advice for somebody who is completely sucked into a full-time job, wanting to be a full-time coach?
I say I have two things. First, set 3 alarms on your phone, and they should be your 3 biggest goals for the rest of the 5 years if you don't already have that. So I had one that would go off at 5 a.m. when I didn't even want my normal alarm to go off, and it would say, you're an elite coach. And then my one at noon would say, you're retiring October 2018, which that didn't even happen. And then the one at night would say, I think you're a top 50 coach. I've just changed them, but that was huge. So that reminder just to be on my phone every morning, and it helps even more so with the I am. And the second thing that I would say is, like tomorrow, if tomorrow's like a normal day, I know it's Friday, I would audit yourself and kind of figure out where you're spending a lot of your time. If you're spending a ton of your time, either following up with messages, or you're spending so much time explaining the process of a free group to someone, that's when I figured out that I needed to transition to something where I could use a simple message to just say, I would love to get you more information. I just did an informational group. Can I add you to that? So if you have that opportunity to kind of develop something like that, I think that would be huge, because then instead of taking all of those conversations that you have that might just fizzle away, you're able to get them the information and see if they want it. And that'll help you not get through more people, but just be able to figure out the people who really do want your help. And the third thing is stay consistent and seriously, like, go for it. Every message you send, every comment you make, every Instagram story you put up, every day you show up, you're one day closer to that resignation letter going to your boss, and that'll be huge.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Is there any in the chat? Okay, I think that's it. So if you guys think of anything, we can always message her and ask her. But she is a rock star in the business right now and did it with a full-time job. So I was so excited to actually have her on because I thought it was perfect for you guys who are balancing full-time jobs and just knowing you can do it too. She did it and she held herself in consistency. Like, she is basic in the business. She wasn't doing anything that was crazy or that you don't know. She was consistent in her fitness journey. And the other thing I loved, like she said, she started sharing her journey just the way she was. She didn't need, you know, to have these like rock solid abs and this perfect body to start sharing her journey. She just owned who she was and started sharing it. And that's how she's literally built. It's just being herself and owning every single day. I'm showing up. I'm not perfect. I'm just here showing up, working on myself. So thank you so much for jumping on the call.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right. Do you guys have any questions for me? No? Good. Just so you guys know, in August, we are going to do, yeah, it is August, right? Yeah, next month. So in August, we're going to do a Bring Your Bestie as a challenge. So anyone that is signing up in challenge groups or signing up as coaches, we're going to tell them to try to bring their bestie. And if they do, they get a 25% off B brand gift card, or just a B brand like graphic we make. So you guys will be getting more information on that. But that would be like a little fun thing to do in August, whether it's bring their mom or bring their best friend, but just a way to get more people involved and helping more people. Do you guys have any questions? We're good? All right. If you guys think of anything, let me know.
Okay.
Good night, guys.